Let's discuss the absurd, something we never expect to see. The surrealism of it all is what intrigues us. The sheer volume of questionable actions seen on a daily basis is what keeps us entertained. To some degree at least. We see this level of absurdity when there are no restrictions on the human mind, where nothing is held back. Yet, we still watch, like the depravity of a slasher film, uncut gore, the invocation of fear. We love it. But why? This would have served as a clever segue into society's desensitized viewing of an impossible everyday occurrence, but it's not.
Give me a beer and a place to go.
HBO's Animals is a charming adult animated comedy created by Mike Luciano and Phil Matarese? Phil Manatee. First airing independently of the network at Sundance Film Festival of January 2015. The show evidently struck gold, being greenlit for 2 seasons, each having 13 25-minute episodes. Interesting how creators who make underground works like this tend to work in pairs, having nearly everything done by them. And likes of Trey Parker and Matt Stone, creators of South Park, as well as Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, credited for the masterpiece we call Rick and Morty.
I'm Kendall Rick! Rick! I'm Pickle Rick!
Written, directed, created, and voiced by them. Almost 90% of the cast is just the creators. The creators of the show made a pretty damn meta joke about it too. In the theme, you could actually hear something along the lines of, all the animals sound like Mike and Phil. But hey, that's just a theory. Possibly taking inspiration from Aqua Teen's cut running gag, Blank is Forbidden, which can still be heard in the ending credits. For this review, I'm breaking the showdown into 3 points: structure, animation, and writing, voicing what made the series so enjoyable to me. Starting with set in New York, the premise of the show is simple. What do these animals do that we are unaware of? Each episode follows a 3, sometimes 4-point story structure separated by each animal with their own subplot, which sometimes may have relation to each other. An example being the episode Worms, Birds, and Possums, having all plots sync for the narrator to state why.
Since the dawn of time, predator and prey have coexisted.
From story to story, we meet eyes with Pesco, an umbrella-esque corporation which buries itself in each subplot as the only grounded story with an overarching plot, consequences, and a serious tone. Generally, however, the stories are often lighthearted in comparison to each other. Episodes can range from closeted sexuality.
I don't want to scare the guy away. I mean, I really like what we have. It's nice to have somebody around. And it's him.
Domestic abuse, midlife crisis, an orphan struggle readjusting to their new life, to a teen struggling with high school melodrama, hormones, and sexual deviance alike. If you think the serious nature of the show is something that will shy you away, characters often break the thick air with jokes, subtly making fun of tropes or making awkward small talk.
We are an evil crime syndicate, and the thing that keeps me up at night is that people here keep printing full-color pages. Why?
I know.
They'll stretch out these memes, and it's just like a fraud.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with work. Yeah. There's nothing funny about it, really.
What makes this interesting is that the show doesn't take itself seriously despite having such dark tones. In likes of BoJack Horseman or Final Space, shows have a tendency to only make jokes when it's convenient instead of focusing on what they are. And that's just being a comedy show. While being dedicated to comedy isn't such an issue, you have to remember that when you stray off the path, you create a new audience. Examples being Star Vs, Steven Universe, and Gravity Falls, who were guilty of this as soon as they had the budget to do so. Something we as consumers have a tendency to be critical of. Whether it's enjoying a low-budget animation because they did what they could with a passion project, or loving it because the effort put in showed the dedication to the craft. On the other hand, we go ballistic when something doesn't meet or exceed our expectations, often lashing out on the show before we can even give it a chance. Animals' animation gets its charm from the dimly colored painted backgrounds that often match the tone of the backstreets of New York. Similarly to South Park, its limited animation is something not to dwell on, since they've shown what they're capable of as the seasons move on.
It ain't no stopping us. Me and my group of foxes is moving through this metropolis, rummaging through the garbages. We went to war a couple years with the Pigeon Mafia. They won all the park, now we stuck behind the garages. A noble animal, purely born to be cannibals. But rats as big as cats rolling packs.
What makes motion into a story? Something that can create unforgettable memories. Arthur's ideas can make us feel something. Anything. Whether it's from laughing in hysterics to crying in the same. If we do, they've done their job well. If we don't, the shows are written off as bad or mediocre. Sometimes words don't even have to be there for the story to be impactful. Mike and Phil work between episode and episode, not catering to mindless violence or depravity. But don't shy away from it since they have access to do so considering where they air. Episodes such as Cats, Pigeons, and Flies all have something in common. We see the character progress as the plot itself progresses. A large example being Flies, where a child abused by his father ends up becoming a byproduct as we see later on in the episode, as opposed to episodes prior that are one-offs of animals that eventually get muted into the background. With the announcement of Season 3 late in the last year, I figured I'd finish this video. In the end, I won't fault you for not watching it. The abnormality of the show is something I enjoy personally, where it's not trying so hard. If you just flow with it, you'll enjoy it much more. Stonecrackers, Major Lazer, hell, a majority of the Adult Swim lineup is guilty of just being mindless entertainment.
Violence in movies and sex on TV.
Despite being on HBO, if you have a minute, sit for an episode, or a show sitting in your Netflix recommended. You never know what you end up enjoying. This has been Metal the Axe Reaper signing out. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, slash the little bell to keep updated, comment, and keep on doing what you love. Also, I'd like a share or two. I know this video was really short, but this was one of my first scripted, time-consuming thoughts video. I have a few things to say since you're here. I plan to do more with this when shows pique my interest, but in short bursts, like a quick talk or a top 5 format. I'm not going an upload schedule for the summer because things like this can take 2 days to a week with my setup. And you can keep in touch with me. I have access to Twitch and Twitter now, so be sure to follow me in the links down below. And with that said, I'm out.